So in the previous session, we have learnt about schema master and we have learnt about domain naming master. And in this session, we are going to learn about the domain wide rules. In the previous session, we have learnt about the forest wide rules. Now we are going to learn about the domain wide rules. And the first rule is RID master, RID meaning relative identifier. The job of RID master gives RID number. You might be thinking, what is it? RID master gives RID number. But what is the use of this RID number? See, RID number is very important. When you create an object like you go to dsa.msce and when you create an object like user1, Active Directory assigns a unique number and that unique number is known as SID number, security identifier. Every object gets this SID number. See, first I will show you the SID number. So can you please come to DC and go to dsa.msc, click on view, click on advanced and click on any user and click on attribute editor. Are you on this page? Okay. After going to the attribute editor, search object SID. Have you searched for object SID? Object SID, OBJECT space SID. OBJECT SID, object SID. Have you searched, my dear friends, object SID? Okay, so here you will see this is the SID number. I will just take a photo of this number. This is the SID number. This SID number consists of two parts. I will paste this in MS Paint. This SID number consists of two parts. This part, my dear friends, this part is the domain number. It is the domain number. And this part is the RID number. RID number given by the RID master. So this is the object SID. An SID consists of two parts. One is the domain number, one is the RID number. Like you might see pen. Pen is there and above the pen, what is there? The token is there. The same way here, domain number plus RID number. Two things are there. Domain number is same. All the objects created in Attari.com, they will have the same domain number. What will be changing? RID number will be changing. An RID number will be given by RID master. See here. If we go back and go to the command prompt and type the command dc diag /v/test RID manager. RID manager. We all love to become manager in the company. And many of you might be manager also. Have you run this command? Okay. So after running this command, my dear friend, please scroll up. Just after running this command, na, you will be on this page. Please scroll up little bit. You have to scroll little bit, and you will come on this page and you will see starting test. Starting test RID manager. Now, one question you might have asked at the start, and that is how many objects, how many users can I create in a domain? The answer is this. The answer is, my dear friend, the answer is that you can create this many objects in your domain. This many RID numbers are there, na? That many objects you can create in your domain, because for every object you create a user group or you whatever it is, it requires an RID number, because it requires an SID number, and SID number is incomplete without RID number, and RID number is given by RID master. How many objects? See, this is 41,000. No, 41,000, 7 lakh, 37 lakh, 7 crore, 100. This is 107 crores. Are you getting the point? Meaning 1 billion, 100 crore, it is known as 1 billion. So you can create more than 1 billion objects. You can create 100 crore is 1 billion. You can create more than 1 billion objects in Active Directory in a domain. It is too much. If I exhaust this 1 billion I have created, then create a new domain. There is no solution. It cannot be increased. It cannot be increased. It is this much only. But exhausting this is like nearly impossible. Now, the DC says, I am RID master. I am using a pool of 500 RID number. This pool I am using, a pool of 500 RID number I am using. I am using a pool of 500 RID number. 1100 to 1599, this number who is using? This number who is using? This pool of 500 RID number who is using? DC is using. So what happens? This big chunk is there, na? This 107 crore numbers are there. So the DC says, I take a pool of 500 RID number and I use it. When it ends, I take 500 pool of RID number again. So it is starting from 1100. Starts from 1100 to 1100 it starts. And it says that I have used till here. I have used till here. I have used till here. Tell me one thing. If I create an object in DC, if I create a user, like for example, user 100, if I create, you know what RID number I will get? I will tell you what RID number I will get. I can tell. I will get 1118. See, I will create a user 100. User 100 I have created. Attribute editor, I will go object SID. Object SID here. Do you see the number which I have got is 111. The number which I have got is, my dear friends, 1118. Correct? I will take a photo of this. The number which I have got is 1118. If you see carefully, this is the domain number. This is the domain number. Domain number which is same for all the object. Every domain has its own domain number. Huh? If you have two domain, Attari.com will have its own number, Japan.attari.com will have its own number. So all the object created in Attari.com, they will have this same number. And this is the RID number given by RID master. Are you getting the point? This complete forms what? SID number. This is complete number. If you see, it is unique, na? RID number, sorry, domain number plus RID number. If you combine, see the complete number, you compare this number with this number, it is different or not? See in one go, if you see them, then you will see here, yes, it is different. Combine all of them, they are different. Perfect. So domain number plus RID number. Have you got the point that every object, now once DC has given 1118, it cannot give 1118 again. It will give 1119 only next. Okay. Now coming back to our story. Now tell me one thing. Tell me one thing, that here you have understood that user, whenever you create group OU, whatever you create, they get an SID number. And SID number consists of the domain number plus the RID number. And RID number is given by the RID master. The RID master gives the RID number. Okay, this is one thing. And the RID master is right now DC. And DC has taken a pool of 1100 to 11. What is the pool? 1100 to. What is the pool of 500 RED number? It has taken from 1100 to 1599. Correct. 1599 pool of 500 RID number it has taken. Correct. So whatever object you create in DC right now, they will get from this pool. But can ADC, is ADC RID master? Is ADC RID master? What do you think? Is ADC RID master? Think and answer. In every domain, there is only one RID master. Is ADC RID master? Please go and type netdom query FSMO. Type this command from DC and ADC and tell me who is the RID master. Those people who are saying yes, please go and type this command in both DC and ADC and tell me who is the RID master. Every domain has only one RID master. That is the first domain controller of the domain by default. DC is the RID master. ADC is not the RID master. ADC is not the RID master. ADC is not the RID master. Right now, ADC is not the RID master. Can ADC create object? Can you create users in ADC? Can ADC create object? Can ADC create object like user group OU? Yes, it can create. How it can create? How ADC is not RID master? To create an object, you require an SID number, and SID number is incomplete without RID number. So ADC is not an RID master. So from where the RID number is coming? So what happens? RID master gives a pool of 500 RID number, a 500 RID number to ADC. That okay, take this pool of 500 RID number and create the objects. When the pool is ending, come and ask me again. I will give you a pool of 500 RID number again. I will not give you 1000, 2000. I will give you in chunk of 500 only. See here. Clearly they have mentioned here. When we run the command now, clearly they have mentioned here. See. If you see here carefully, you will find a gap here. See. Now we will see carefully. 1200 to this number is free. It is saying I am using from 1100. How many numbers are missing here? What is the missing range? There is a missing range. DC says I am using this pool. I ask, where is the number from 1600 to 2099? If you count from 1600 to 2099, you will see there are 500 RID numbers. If you count them, if you count from 1100 to 1159 on your finger, the count will be 500. So there are 500 RID number. Who is using this 1600 to 2099 RID numbers? So the DC says, I have given that to ADC, na? ADC is using. Are you getting the point? So if I go to ADC, and if I run the command, same command, dc-v/test::RID manager, and I ask ADC, are you RID master? ADC says no, DC is the RID master, but I have a pool of RID number. Oh, wow. Are you getting the point? I'm using this pool of 1600 to 2099. If this pool ends, I will ask the DC's RID master to give me a pool of 500 RID number again. And if I create, it says I have used till here. If I create an object in ADC, then what RID number it will get? If I create an object in ADC has the power to create the object. Perfect. It will get the RID number 1603. So there is no conflict at all, both the pool. Now I will create a group just to show you. Sales group. Sales people bring a lot of business in the company. Okay. So view, advanced, user, sales, attribute editor, object SID, where are you? OBJ, object SID. This is the domain number. The domain number is same. This is the RID number. Correct? I hope you got a better idea. So when ADC will create the object, it will use its own RID number. DC create the object, it will use its own RID number. There is no conflict, there is no issue, there is no problem. Single master. DC is there. DC says, everyone contact me. I will give you the RID number. I am the RID master. So this single master is necessary to avoid conflicts, to maintain consistency, to maintain stability. Only one person is having the role, meaning one domain controller is having the role. That is, in case of RID master example, the DC is having the RID master role. ADC is not having. ADC will contact the RID master to get the pool of 500 RID numbers. So RID master is responsible for the creation of SID. Perfect. If RID master is down, then what will happen? Users won't get created. Groups cannot be created. Object creation. Are you getting the point? RID master is down. RID number cannot give. So without RID number, SID number is incomplete. Without SID number, object cannot be created. Okay, so it is all very important, my dear friends. So if the RID master goes down, RID master meaning the DC goes down, then in ADC you can create the object till the time you have the pool of 500 RID number. The pool expire, then from ADC also the object cannot be created because ADC says there is no RID master. From where can I get the pool of 500 RID number? Again, my pool has completed. So after the pool expire, you cannot create any object. Meaning in short, creation of object will get impacted if RID master is down. Okay. So it is an important role. Now how to transfer the RID master role. So we have discussed about the responsibility of RID master. I hope you got the point. I've given here also in the PDF. Things which we are discussing, domain number, RID number, SID number. Okay. Then RID master domain number identifies the domain. Every domain has a domain number. RID number is increasing number given by RID master. RID master also issues RID pool of 500 RID number to other DC in the same domain. RID master in its lifespan can issue more than 1 billion RID number. Below is the command to test the RID master. Remember, every domain has its own RID master. Confused in RID and SID. How many people are confused in RID and SID? Tell me one thing. You all have a name and surname, right? You all have a name and surname in your family, correct? What is common? Surname is common. And what is unique? Your name is unique, correct? So name plus your surname is the SID. Consider that as the SID. Surname is the domain name and name is the RID number. I hope now it should be easy for you. Okay. So your complete name is like the SID number. Your surname is like a domain name and your name which is changing in your family. Everyone has a different name. That is the RID number. Now, coming to the next point, my dear friends. Now we will go to DC and we will learn how to transfer the role. So please open up dsa.msc. Have you opened up dsa.msc? Have you opened up dsa.msc? dsa.msc. Now, after typing dsa.msc, my dear friends, all the domain-wide rules, RID master, infrastructure master, and PDC, all these three domain-wide rules, they are transferred from dsa.msc from here. Now, always remember the logic. You should ask yourself a question. Whom am I transferring the role? I am transferring the role to ADC. So here the name of ADC should be there. If the name is DC and if you go right click and if you click on attari.com and if you click on operation master and if you try to transfer the role, you will get it's the same name. That is a problem. It cannot transfer. So what you have to do is you have to click and do you see change domain controller? Please right click on change domain controller and click on ADC. Have you click on ADC, my dear friends? You want to transfer the role to ADC? Please click on ADC. Now, please right click on Attari.com. Do you see Operation Master? Click on Operation Master. Have you click on Operation Master? No. The role is with DC. And do you want to transfer to ADC? And they have given also the operation master ensures the allocation of RID pool to other domain controllers. Only one server in the domain perform this role. So only one server in the domain has this role. Every domain has its own RID master. Only one RID master per domain. So operation master role is with DC. Do you want to transfer to ADC? Meaning the RID master role is with DC. Click on change, click on yes, click on OK. Transfer the role. Have you transferred, my dear friends? And type the command netdom query FSMO. Do not just transfer all the rules in one go, do it along with me. So have you transferred the rule of RID master? Perfect. Now, the next role which we will discuss is about infrastructure master. Infrastructure master. Now, infrastructure master role has very unique and very limited work. It works in case of inter-domain operation, meaning it is useful. It comes into picture only when you have multiple domains in your forest. Otherwise, it has no work. The work is like this. See, we will take an example to explain you the work of the responsibility of the infrastructure master. Forest, inside the forest we have a domain, and inside that two domains we require. So this is the root domain. This is the child domain. And in the next lecture, you are going to learn how to create a child domain. Now, this is the forest. Root domain attari.com. Forest, the same name is given to the forest, and this name is japan.attari.com. This is the name of the child domain. This is the domain controller of these of the this is the domain controller DC of attari.com, and this is the domain controller CDC of japan.attari.com. Now, in this domain there is a file server and there is a data folder here. Now we are going to learn how to create a separate server as a file server that you will learn in upcoming lecture. And this is the database, this is the database. Now database of both the domains will be different. The users which you create here like Zamir, that you will not see here. Separate domain meaning separate classroom. Classroom 1 will have separate students, classroom 2 have separate students. They're part of the same school, but classroom is separate. No? So domains are separate, so their database is separate. So for here in Japan, the user is Honda. In Japan, there is a user name as Honda. There is a user also in Japan known as Doraemon. That we are not taking. Honda we are taking. So we have in Attari.com, we have the user as Zamir, and in Japan.attari.com, we have a user as Honda. And this user Honda requires access to the share folder which is there in Attari.com. Can we give the access? User is in Japan, folder is in Attari. Can we give the access? Yes, because they are part of the same forest. Access can be given. Why it can be given? For that, you need to come for the trust lecture. We will explain you that there is a trust because of that. How it is created, what is the trust, we will all discuss in that session. So access can be given. Now, this kind of operation where user is in one domain and folder is in one domain, different domain, both are in different domain. This kind of operation is known as inter-domain operation. Inter-domain operation. If we give Honda, and how we give, do you remember? that we go to the share folder. See, if you are revising now, if you are revising, it is good. If you do not have time to revise, if you say that I don't have time, so you have the time to join the batch. We get lot of calls. We get, so you might be shocked, we get people in our database from 5 years just following up. Attari class, when the new batch is coming of MCSE. I don't have time. Then they see the advertisement, a new batch is coming. Okay, I don't have time. Meaning like that for five years before people have contacted us and now they have joined. Meaning time will never come automatically. You have to take. So you have to take out time to revise. Revision is important, my dear friend. Okay, so coming here. So in that lecture, if you remember what we have done, we went to the data folder, we went to sharing, everyone full control. Then we went to the security tab. And in the security tab, we will give here Honda. For example, we will give modify access to Honda. We can add the Honda user. And Honda after logging into his computer now, or Honda after logging in his computer, Honda will be able to access to / the name of the server, for example, file server and the data folder. Honda will be able to access the share folder. But what is the job of infrastructure master here? See, infrastructure master maintains consistency. Consistency meaning you can consider here as it is. Same object. So here the Honda user is there, the same Honda user you will see here, same. And if you make some changes in the username, for example, Honda has changed his name. Someone said Honda, yeah, in your name now. If you add one more A, you will become more lucky. Have you seen this? People do like this. One of my senior was there. His name was Rahul. He added one more R. He became CEO after that. No, he has not become CEO, but he has added. So there are some people who do like this. So someone tell Honda that add one more A in your name. So Honda said, okay, one more A. Life will change. Okay, I will add. So Honda officially changes name from Honda, double A. Now, when we change the name in the Active Directory, that name which is there in the data folder, that name should also change from Honda A to double A. That should also get reflected here, the same name. Who does this? Infrastructure master does this. It maintains consistency of the object. The same object you will see, because the object is in different domain, it is called in different domain. So the same object, Honda name change here. If you go to the data folder, you will see the same name Honda. Here also it will change. Who does this? This is done by infrastructure master. Okay, so infrastructure master maintains consistency of object. Infrastructure master maintains consistency. The infrastructure master role maintains consistency of object during inter-domain operation. Infrastructure master role comes into picture when user in one domain is added to another domain, like giving share folder access to user of another domain. Example I've taken. If infrastructure master does not do its job correctly, you will see SID in place of name. In place of name, you might see SID number. SID number. Normally, this kind of issues do not happen. But if it happens, if the infrastructure master role is not working properly, then in place of name, you will see the SID number. Or the infrastructure master role, for example, if it is down, then what will happen? Then in place of name, you might see SID numbers here. So let's go. This is the job of infrastructure master, which I put also in theory here. And I've discussed with you the scenario in which infrastructure master role can be used. Now, can you please tell me that if I have only a root domain in the forest, only one domain in the forest, does my infrastructure master role has some work? Think and answer. Correct answer is no. Because infrastructure master says that I have work when you have inter-domain, multiple domain. You don't have multiple domain. You have only one domain. I don't have any work. Okay. Now please go to DC. Are you on DC, my dear friends? Now please go to dsa.msc, click on infrastructure master. And the same thing you will see. Infrastructure master ensures consistency of object for inter-domain operation. What is inter-domain operation? We have explained you with an example. Honda user in Japan, folder in data folder in Attari, inter-domain operation example. Now role is with DC, transfer to ADC, click on change, click on yes, click on OK. Please do this, update in the chat box. Done. Perfect. Now, can you just go to netdom query FSMO and check the role has been transferred? Role has been transferred, correct? Perfect. Now, what is the last role, my dear friends? PDC emulator, correct. So please, I think the screen was paused. I've run this command. So the last role, we have transferred the infrastructure master role. The last role is PDC emulator. Now PDC emulator has multiple responsibilities, not just one. It has multiple responsibilities. And it is one of the most, out of the all of them, PDC is the most important. PDC is the most important. What is the full form of PDC? If you're thinking, it is not post dated check. PDC is, let's see this. Do not transfer the rule now. PDC is primary domain controller. The operation, the PDC master emulate meaning behaves the function of a primary domain controller. So you might have seen chameleon. Chameleon, if you Google out chameleon, it emulates according to the environment. It will change the body color. A very interesting animal. So the PDC master also emulates. It is not the primary domain controller, but it works like a primary domain controller. For whom? For pre-Windows 2000 clients. What is the meaning of pre-Windows 2000 client? Pre-Windows 2000 client means Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows ME. These are examples of pre-Windows 2000 client. This old operating system, because Active Directory came in 2000. So at that time in companies, this old operating system were there. At that time, they were not old. Are you getting the point? Think in the year 2000, when Active Directory came, this operating system were there in the company. 95, 98, all this operating system. So they cannot understand they cannot understand the domain environment properly. So they are able to understand the concept. This old operating systems, they were able to understand a concept of PDC, primary domain controller. Now we do not want to take you to 95, 98, what was happening. That's all gone. We are not interested in that. And I have never done research personally also on that. Who cares? Meaning, are we going to use 95, 98 and Windows ME kind of operating system in our company in today's world? No. So in short, they were able to understand PDC, the language of PDC. So our DC will work as a PDC for them so that they can understand the things. They were able to understand primary domain controller concept. So our domain controller will work as a PDC for them. So in today's world, we don't have all this. We don't need to worry. That means this role, this job of PDC, this work of PDC is of no use. Meaning emulating the function of a primary domain controller for pre-Windows 2000 client. In today's world, it is of no use. Okay, because in today's world, you don't have 90, we forget about 95, 98. You don't even see XP. You don't even see Windows 7 in your company. You will see Windows 10 or 11. Now, what are the next role? Do not transfer the rule. What are the next role, my dear friend? Sorry, next responsibility of PDC. So the next responsibility of PDC is group policy changes are done only by PDC. Group policy changes are done only by PDC. If PDC master is down, changes cannot be done in group policy. It means what? See, group policy changes are done only by whom? Only by PDC. If I open up the group policy, gpmc.msc, gpmc.msc. If I open up the group policy and if I create the policy, like for example, test policy, I am from DC, I am able to create. If I go to ADC, from ADC, if I type gpmc.msc, and if I open up the group policy, am I able to see the test policy? Yes, I am able to see the test policy. Okay. Am I able to create a policy like new test policy? I'm able to create. Am I able to see here? I'm able to see here also. So right now, DC can also create what you get a feeling like this, that okay, DC can also create and ADC can also create. But the correct answer is only DC can create the policy. From wherever you open the group policy management console, the console is of DC only. See, your name is not mentioned in the bracket. Here it is mentioned here. If I click on domain, it will show me. If I click on Attari.com, it will show me. dc.attari.com is the baseline domain controller for this domain. So whether I open from group policy from DC or from ADC, I will see the same thing. dc.attari is the baseline domain controller for the domain. It means what? Are you getting this point? You can open up the console from all the domain controllers in the domain, the group policy management console, but that doesn't mean that they have the power to make changes in group policy. Only DC make changes in the group policy and DC update to ADCs. DC update to all the ADC that see this group policy has changed. This group policy has changed. The C Windows sysvol folder, it is managed by a service known as DFS, which we will learn in the DFS replication chapter. But right now, what we want to discuss is that only DC can make changes in group policy. See, if we stop DC, then you cannot make changes in group policy. Meaning, if we stop DC, you cannot make changes in group policy. Do you want to see that? The group policy management console will not open. Right now, it is opening from DC ADC, na? If I stop the domain controller which is having the PDC role, I cannot open group policy management console from anywhere. Are you getting the point? How many of you have got this point? Okay. Can you show us? We are going to see. In today's session only, we will see in some time. But you have to just keep this in mind that if the DC is down, then you cannot open up the group policy management console. If I stop the DC right now, na, and then if I start, then my further practical which I want to show you, that will get infected, because after stopping and starting the domain controllers, they take time for replication. So I will show you people in some time, but you have to just note it down. Now, the next thing is password changes on any DC are first updated to PDC, and PDC will update to all other DC in the domain. You will be asked in interview the work of PDC. Password changes on any DC are first updated to PDC, and PDC will update to all other DC in the domain. See what happens. Let's try to understand this line with an example. Forest is there. Domain is there. And every domain has its own PDC. This is my PDC. The DC is the PDC. So for example, there is a company. That company has one office in Mumbai. So they have a site in Mumbai. One office in Pune. So they have a site in Pune. And one office in US. So they have a site in US. So in their domain of Attari.com, they have 3 sites. Forest, root domain, 3 site. 3 different office, so 3 site. And all the offices are connected via WAN links. One domain controller here in this office. One domain controller here in this office. Now, the database they have, the database will be same. The Active Directory database will be same. Same user 1, user 1, user 1, same. The database will be same. In the same domain, they will have the same database. And the replication they will follow is intra-site or inter-site. What do you think? They are in different site. The replication which they will follow is, think an answer. Intra meaning same, inter meaning different. They are in different site. In diagram also I put in different site. Correct. So they will follow the replication cycle of inter-site. Now, my dear friends, please have a look. This user 1 is in Pune. User 1 is working in night shift. In IT, there is a problem. I work in many night shift, yeah, many starting career night shift. And I was like, at one time, I was fed up. To get away from night shift in IT, you have to do what you know. You have to become, as soon as possible, you have to become manager or team leader. Then you will get day shift. If you are engineer, most of the time you will get night shift. Am I right? So it's a fact. I've done many night shift. And night shift, when you go home, you know how it looks like. You are going home early in the morning and everyone is going to office. It looks very different. So this user one is in night shift. User one is not able to log in to the computer. User one, oh, has forgotten the password. User one says, okay, let me contact the help desk. Let me contact the help desk team and reset the password. User one calls the help desk. The help desk person is sitting in US. Night support is given by US people because they have morning. So help desk guy is here. The help desk guy is here. The help desk guy has Active Directory delegation. They can reset the password. So the help desk guy picks up the call and said, okay, with proper approval, okay, I will reset the password. Meaning the user has raised the ticket with proper approvals and the help desk guy of US reset the password. The password is reset here. In which domain controller? In the US domain controller. User authentication is happening here in Pune domain controller. Password is not reset here. Password is reset here in the US domain controller. Now replication between them will take some 15 minutes. That is the minimum replication cycle. So can the user wait for 15 minutes? No. So there is a concept. What happened whenever the password is reset on any domain controller, that domain controller will give updated password to whom? Will give updated password to whom? To the PDC. PDC will send that updated password to all the other domain controllers in whichever site they are. It will not wait for that replication timer of 15 minutes. No, this is immediate. This is important replication, instant replication. So immediately the updated password will be sent to all the domain controllers and here the password will be updated and the user will be able to log in. Are you getting the point, my dear friend? What is the meaning of this? Password changes on any DC are first updated to PDC and PDC will update to all other DC. Why? Have you got the understanding? Why it is important? Because in this happens. Now, the next thing is, have we discussed about account lock in the previous lectures? Account lock policy we have created, right? More than 3 times. If you enter the wrong password, account is locked. Perfect. Why the account lock happens? Number one reason is wrong password. I'm entering wrong password. I'm not there. I'm not there. The cleanup person came in my run at cleanup person, help desk people are no help, not help desk. The cleanup person, what I can say, housekeeping people. So they come and they clean, they will just clean a like they're pressing the keyboard. They don't even know, and by default the password is entering. Sometimes because of them also account is locked. It happens. You come early in the morning and you see your account is locked. You have not done anything, but in the night housekeeping people have done unknowingly. They are just cleaning your keyboard and mouse, and by automatically the password is entering and enter button is going on and it gets locked. Sometimes it happens like this. So the point is that the user one right now, for example, has forgotten the password and is entering the wrong password. And in your company, the account lock is there. Account lock. More than 3 times, 4th time enter the wrong password, account is locked. User one enters the password. Because of site and subnet, user one request will go to ADC. User one is logged in Pune computer. Pune computer request. Pune computer will send a request to ADC. ADC will check here. Is the password correct? No. User one has entered the wrong password. Now ADC will not lock the account. ADC does not have the permission to lock the account. Who has the permission to lock the account? Who has the permission to lock the account? Only PDC. PDC has the permission to lock the account. That's why if we want to know that account lock, if we want to know the account lock, then we go to the PDC and we open up the event viewer. There is an option, event viewer, event VWR, viewer. Oh, event VWR, viewer, event viewer, Windows logs, security. Here, if I search for filter current log, event ID 4740. Event ID, if I'm right, 4740. Event ID. Oh. So user account was locked. So this is the lock account that was locked out. Calling computer name. Remember in the previous lecture, we have locked the account of user one. So we can see if a particular user says that my account is locked and from which computer, sometimes the user complain, hey, I have not locked the account. I'm just putting the right password. So what we do as a part of troubleshooting, we go here, we open up the event viewer, especially we go to the PDC, we open up the event viewer, we go to the Windows log, we click on security, we right click, we search for filter current log the way I've done 4740 and we try to find that user one. Okay. Now calling computer name is PC1. Then we sometimes what happens that credential manager is there. In credential manager, sometimes that user has stored the old password. So we go and clean up here. Normally we will not do this. The desktop engineer will do this. They will do the desktop part. But this is a point that sometimes they store their old password, Active Directory password, like the password which was there before, and now they have changed the password. Now previous password they have stored somewhere in some application somewhere, and that password is hitting the database Active Directory. It is the password is going, the old password is going to the domain controller, and the domain controller says wrong password, your account is locked. It happens. So we need to find the calling computer name. So this event ID is very helpful. Can you show how to clean up the credential manager? It is simple. If I go to the credential manager and there is an option, right now I don't have anything, but they give an option to clean up. Meaning here I have it. I've stored so many things. I don't even know this. So remove like that. I have to go and remove all the old passwords. So old Active Directory password is been stored somewhere in the user, and that is hitting, and that is the request is going to the domain controller, and it is an old password. The account is getting locked. This is a number one reason where the user says, I have not locked the account. Are you getting the point, my dear friend? Manually, you can go and remove, or there can be some command also, but we can remove manually also like this. Now, coming back to our point. So what I was saying here, that when the user enters the wrong password, it will go to ADC, because for Pune site, ADC is the domain controller. For authentication, the request goes to ADC. ADC checks wrong password. ADC says, I cannot lock the account. Let me send the username and the password to PDC. PDC will not directly lock the account. PDC says, okay, let me check. PDC will check again. And PDC says, yes, password is wrong. And PDC will increase the counter. Okay. One time the account is, meaning one time wrong password. Then the user enter the wrong password second time. First time he has entered, second time wrong password. The ADC will check, password is wrong. ADC will tell to PDC, you check. PDC says password is wrong. Second time wrong. Third time user enter the wrong password. The request goes to ADC. ADC says wrong password. The request goes to ADC will send that request to PDC. PDC says wrong password. increase the counter. Then fourth time the user enter the wrong password, the request goes to ADC. ADC will check password is wrong. ADC will send that to PDC. PDC will say that check and wrong password. So fourth time what will happen? The account is locked. The user account, the user one is locked. And the PDC will tell all the domain controllers, lock this account, lock the account. So account lock is done by whom? Account lock is done by PDC. Account lock is done by whom? Account lock is done by PDC. Password update in the domain is done by whom? Password update in the domain is done by PDC. Now, why the PDC is checking the password? You know why the PDC is checking the password? In some rare case, in some rare scenario, the password is updated somewhere, like in US ADC. The password came to PDC, but PDC has still not updated that to ADC. Are you getting the point? Because PDC has latest passwords, up-to-date passwords. So it can happen that the password, the latest password, in a fraction of time, it is still not came to ADC. So as a part of second opinion, PDC will check, because PDC says, I have the latest password. Let me check again, because might be somewhere the password has changed and it has came to me, and still I have not updated to you guys. And I'm in the process of that, but it can happen in a fractions of second, all these things. So that's why the PDC check the password. If the PDC says password is right, okay, so the PDC will tell the ADC to update the password. Hey, update the password. Password is right. Okay, so this can happen in some rare scenario. So that's why the PDC check the password, because PDC has up-to-date password. But in normal cases, the password is wrong and PDC will lock the account. So what you have learned about the role of PDC, my dear friends, PDC is an important role. What you have learned? So you have learned till now that only group policy changes are done by PDC. You have learned that password changes on any DC are first updated to PDC. PDC will update to anyone. And you have learned account lock is done by PDC. Okay. Simple way, these three things you have learned. I have explained you in detail understanding, but at least for interview process, these things you have to say. Now, PDC acts as a time source. PDC acts as a time source, my dear friend. Now, there is a requirement of Kerberos. See, this is something new thing. Kerberos requirement is time synchronization within your Active Directory is important, because the timestamp is used during the authentication process. Meaning when the computer send the username and username to the domain controller and the password is sent in an encrypted form, password is not directly sent. So when you log into the computer, you enter the username and the password. So the username is sent to the domain controller and the password is sent in encrypted form. And there is a time also. The computer mentioned the time, that this is the time the user has logged in. So the time of the computer and the time of the domain controller, there should not be a difference of more than 5 minutes. If there is a difference of more than 5 minutes, then it does not work. It says that there is some issue. If your PC time is more than 5 minutes different from the domain controller, your authentication attempt will be rejected. So that means the time is important. To understand the timing part, first we need to understand the difference between time and time zone. There is a concept which is known as UTC time, general time, UTC time. And there is a concept known as time zone. What is the time zone of our country? Do you know what is the time zone of our country? Correct. Plus 5:30. UTC time is a general time. See, if I go to Google and if I search for UTC time now, the UTC time is 5:52 a.m. plus 5:30 you do. What is the time you will get? Plus 5:30. The UTC time is 5:52 plus 5:30 you do. You will get 11:22, the current time. Okay, so this is one thing. The same way, if I want to know the time zone for Dubai, it is GMT plus 4. GMT meaning UTC. UTC, GMT, it is same. So the time zone is UTC plus 4 or GMT plus 4. UTC, GMT, their general time. They're the same. Are you getting the point, my dear friend? So if in the UTC time, this is the UTC time. If I add here plus 4, I will get what? 9:52 is the Dubai time. Are you understanding? The same way US has its own time zone, UK has its own time zone, plus minus it can be. It is done from the UTC time. Have you got the difference between time and time zone? Time is different, time zone is different. There is an international time which is going on, which is known as GMT or UTC time. And every country get the time from the international time using plus minus their time zone. Meaning in that time, if I add plus 30, I will get India's time zone. If I add plus 4, I will get for Dubai time. If I add minus 10, in that time, I will get Canada time. See here. Canada time zone. Canada is a big country, like GMT minus 3. Whatever is their time zone, minus that minus is there. And US time zone. Okay. So it is like generally GMT minus 3, meaning UTC minus 5, or GMT minus 5, UTC minus 5. Minus 5, if we do, we will see US time zone. In this time, if I do minus 5, we will see US time zone. So have you got, we don't need to memorize all the countries' time zones, but have you got the understanding? Time and time zone. Now here, the time which should be same is not the time zone. It is the UTC time. Are you getting the point? The time that should be same in the domain controller and the computer is the UTC time. Is the UTC time. So how it can be same? Let's see. Give me a moment. Okay. So how it can be same? See here. By default, the PDC is the time source. Everyone, all the domain controllers will take the time from PDC. Which time? Which time they will sync? They will sync the UTC time. UTC time are also known as the GMT time, the general time. So all the domain controllers, they will take the time from whom? From the PDC. All the domain controllers will take the time from the PDC. All the computers in US, they will take the time. Which time? UTC time. Huh? They will take the time from the US domain controller. All the Pune computer, they will take the time from the Pune domain controller. And all the Mumbai computers, they will take the time directly from the PDC. So if the time here is, for example, 5:22 is the UTC time example. So all of them will have 5:22. Are you getting the point? All of them will have 5:22 time. Plus they can add their country's time zone. So their country time zone they will add, so they will see their time. US people will add their time zone, Indian people will add their time zone. So will they will see their time. Are you getting the point? So everyone synchronize the UTC time. So the UTC time should be same. And the PDC maintains the local time, meaning the PDC has the local BIOS or local CMOS. Local CMOS, it maintains the local time. The PDC maintains its own local time. You know what is local CMOS here? The local CMOS, which is a small battery on the motherboard that keeps track of the date and time, even when the computer is turned off. It looks like this. You might have seen in the motherboard, correct? So the time is maintained by the PDC. PDC is local motherboard, the battery time, it is maintained by it. That is known as the local CMOS. Now, if we run this command, w32tm space query space status. Let's run this command. Can you please go to DC? Open up the command prompt. Type w32tm. We will connect all the dots in some time. Query status. Meaning if you want to know that this domain controller is taking time from whom, you can run this command. So have you run this command? Done. Okay. Why does source 169 is IP is there? The problem is that because we have created server in AWS, so AWS manage the time source. AWS is managing. But in your company, when you see the server, when you run the command, you will see this result. The result will be this. In the PDC, when you run, it will be clearly this local. Are you getting the point? AWS says, I will take that, I will manage the time source. Because we have created the server in AWS Cloud now, so AWS is handling the time source. But in company, when you create, you will see this written local CMOS clock in PDC. And in ADC, when you run this command, you will see that ADC is taking time from PDC. It will see it will show you the source as PDC, the IP of PDC, the name of PDC. Okay. So if you run from ADC, you will see the name of PDC. And if you run this command from PDC, you will see local CMOS clock. Now, local CMOS clock has a problem. What is the problem? Has anyone worked as a desktop engineer? Do you know what problem can happen with local CMOS battery problem? Do you know battery problem? Battery, right? If the battery is weak, the time in your computer will not show you properly because it's not able to maintain the time. So if the time is not proper, then what will happen? Authentication issues will happen because the domain controller time and the computer time should be same. Should be same. For authentication, it should be same. So there is an offset of plus minus 5 minutes. That okay, plus minus 5 minute time difference is there, fine. But if it is more than plus minus 5 minute time difference, then authentication will not happen. Meaning your domain controller and your computer time, the UTC time, I'm not talking about the time zone, the UTC time should be same. Plus minus 5 minute difference is there, fine. If it is more than that, then authentication issues will happen. See here, if I go to DC and if I open up the group policy and if I take you to default domain policy and if I take you to computer Windows settings, security settings, account policies, Kerberos policy. Here that is maximum tolerance for computer clock synchronization. Here that is 5 minutes. Here it is mentioned that 5 minutes. It is the default. We don't change this. Okay, so here that 5 minutes is mentioned. Maximum tolerance between the computer and the domain controller time is plus minus 5 minutes. The UTC time plus minus 5 minutes difference is there, fine. Authentication will be happen. If it is not, then authentication issues will happen. So avoid this, to avoid this kind of authentication issues, in companies, it is recommended that this local CMOS battery can cause timing issues because it is dependent on the local battery. So we tell the PDC that take time from a reliable source like an NTP server. NTP servers are network time protocol. They are servers like Microsoft NTP servers are there. Microsoft says, I manage the NTP server. You can take the time from the NTP server. These are reliable NTP servers. They will give proper time and we are properly maintaining it. So if I go to Google and if I search authoritative time source, if I search authoritative time source, I will get a document. In this document, they have given, when you have time, you can read the document. They have given that how local CMOS time can cause a big issue and why your root PDC, when your root PDC is not set to NTP, things can happen. Time synchronization failure can cause variety of problem, most notably login failures. User will not be able to log in because authentication will not happen. So here they have given the theory also. The PDC is the time source. PDC get the time from the local CMOS. So this can cause issues. Okay, this can incorrect time can cause issues. So alternately, you can configure your other device within your domain to synchronize time from NTP. So now how to take the time from NTP? They have just discussed the importance of NTP. Then to configure time synchronization via command line. Now they have given three options. One is command line, one is via registry, one is via group policy. Simple is command line. Meaning if we run this command, w32tm.ex sync from as it is, and this is the time source. Okay, this is the time source. This IP is the example in National Institute of Standard and Technology time server at Microsoft in Redmond. Replace this IP with the time service of your choice. Meaning there are a lot of time servers. You can replace this IP. If you go to Google and search time servers, you will find a lot of time servers IP as there. But you can use Microsoft IP. There is no problem. Meaning you can use this command as it is. So just we have to run this command. But in our case, the time is controlled by AWS, so it does not work. But in real life, it works. Okay, real life, if you run this command, it will work. So have you got the point, my dear friends? How to tell our domain controller, our PDC to take the time from NTP. NTP a reliable source. Their timing is proper. So they will give the proper time, UTC time, and then our domain controller will give the time properly. Okay, dependent on local CMOS is danger. And they have mentioned the same thing in the document. Okay, now the next thing is, so we have learned about the PDC role. Now, let's transfer the role. So can you just come on the page of this Active Directory users and computers? Are you on this page, my dear friends? Okay, now right click on Operation Master, click on PDC. Are you on this page, my dear friends? Now click on change and click on yes, click on OK. So have you transferred all the roles? Can you just go and type NetDOM query FSMO. Perfect. So you have transferred all the roles, right? That's great. That's good. So now after transferring all the roles, my dear friends, you know what has happened? What has happened? Can anyone tell me after transferring all the roles, what has happened? So after transferring all the roles, correct, DC has become ADC and ADC has become DC. Okay, their name is DC ADC, but now in terms of role, DC is now ADC and ADC is not DC. Now, one more thing, there is a command related to the NTP point. There is a command. If I run this command, then I can see the UTC time. If I run this command, if you're curious that what is the UTC time right now, the time which is synchronized, then this command shows you the UTC time, the current UTC time. This command can be helpful to you. You can save it. Otherwise, it is available on my Google also. Command to see the UTC time, PowerShell command to see the UTC time. You might get it. Now coming to the next point, my dear friends. So we have successfully transferred the role from ADC, from DC to ADC. And after transferring the role, now ADC has become DC and DC has become ADC. Now I want to discuss the next important thing, which is Cs. But before that, I will just share you a script. I have the script. I have not created the script. The script is ready-made with me. I've just got it from Google. So dcdiag command perform the analysis, meaning the dcdiag command is used to test or perform diagnostic of the domain controller. And there is a person who has created this script. It is available on the internet. This script will check the health, will check the services of the domain controller, of all the domain controller, and it will give you the result. This is a very big script. This is a PowerShell script. And if I copy this script and if I show you that how it can be run, later on, you can just do it, or later on, whenever it is required in your company, you can just go here in the PDF and click on this script and test it out. But how to use it? See here, I will copy this. Just see on the screen, I will copy this. And I will first I will go to the desktop and I will create a notepad file. So what I'm creating a notepad file with the name of AD Health. Copy and save. Nothing big I've done. Copy and paste it. Then I will save this file, save as all files, adhealth.ps1 PowerShell script, because it's a PowerShell script, so I need to save it as ps1. So I've saved it as ps1, and now it is there. It is there in my desktop. So what I've done, I've created a notepad with the name of AD Health. I've copied and pasted. I click on the notepad, click on file, save as, and save it as ps1 PowerShell script. Now this script is in my desktop. So what I will do is I will go to desktop, cd desktop. So I have to open up the command prompt. I have to type PowerShell, then cd desktop dot backslash adhealth dot ps1, the name of the script and the extension adhealth dot ps1, adhealth ps1 PowerShell script ps1. Enter. Now the script will run whatever services checking is been put in the script that services it will check, and it will show me in green state, red state, like that. So like that, lot of scripts are available on Google. This is one of them. So it has run the FSMO rule, FSMO check command, and now it is checking the Active Directory health check. It is performing ping, and then it will check the services, and then it will show me the result. Now, my dear friends, this will run. I will give it some time. Now we have to discuss about Cs. What is the meaning of Cs? Especially in those family where two brothers are there. Cs happens. Our brother, sister, they are seizing. It happens or not? Father has brought, for example, one remote control car, and there are two brothers. What will happen? Seize will happen. Correct? So that's why if you have two child, bring two. I think bring three. if there is one is broken, spare one is there. So if you have two child, if you have three child, accordingly bring that. If you have one child, no problem. All C's happen. They start from number 2, number 3. So what C's mean, my dear friend, taking, grabbing. So why do we need to perform C's? C's, always remember, is the last step. It is not the first step. It is the last step. Transfer is the best. But in which scenario we need to perform C's? For example, forest. Inside the forest, the domain is there. And inside the domain, my dear friend, we have DC. In the Mumbai office, we have DC. Mumbai Pune is connected. And in the Pune office, we have ADC. Domain forest. And what happened that this domain controller, there is a power failure. Power supply failed. Motherboard failed. CPU failed. Will you get a chance to perform transfer? Tell me. Hardware failure. No, correct. Hardware failure, you don't have the chance. For example, your keyboard, your mouse, one day it is not working. What you can do? Keyboard, one of the key, one day it is not working. What you can do? At that time, you have to accept it that it's a failure. You can buy a new mouse, you can change the keyboard key. So the point is, if hardware failures are there, here in this case, you can contact the vendor like Dell, HP, from wherever you have bought the server. They will come and replace it, but they will take time. And if there is such a failure that it cannot be replaced, meaning it cannot be solved, power failure, there is no option. And this is the FSMO role holder, my dear friend. This is the FSMO role holder. It is known as catastrophic failure, disaster, power failure, motherboard failure, CPU failure. It cannot be solved. Now, in such a scenario, FSMO role holder is down or not? For example, there is power failure. It is down. Correct? Example, DC is having the role and there is a power failure. Now, group policy will not open. Schema changes you can't do. Schema changes, schema master, schema change, schema master is down. Schema, you cannot make the changes here. If the role holder is down, what all things will happen? You cannot add new objects in the schema. Domain master is down. You cannot add new domain. You cannot delete existing domains in the forest. RAD master is down. You cannot create new objects in the forest. Sorry, new objects in the domain. Infrastructure master is down. Inter-domain operation, if you perform, it will not work properly. Consistency will fail. PDC master is down. Account lock problem, password change, time sync, group policy. All this problem will happen. So this role holder is down, meaning all these problems will happen. So Active Directory is the backbone. Sorry, FSMO is the backbone of Active Directory. So what do you think we should do? We cannot transfer because the role holder is down. So recommended is that remove this server from the network. Remove this server from the network. Disconnect it from the network because it is down. Remove it. Do not connect it again. Then go to ADC. Go to the one whom you want to transfer the role. Transfer cannot be done. So go to ADC and perform seize. Seize. Seize meaning it will say to itself that I am infrastructure master. I am RID master. I am PDC master. I am schema master. I am domain naming master. Remember, after performing seize, if you make that old domain controller up, the old domain controller says, I am the schema master, domain naming master, RID, PDC, infrastructure master. So clash will happen. Issues will happen. Like for example, there is an uncle. The uncle went to ICU. Uncle property, complete property is in the name of uncle. Uncle went to ICU. And children, they felt uncle will not come from ICU. Children divided the property. And you think uncle come back from the ICU happily, healthy. What will happen? Property is divided. Uncle will say, property is in my name. I have not given to you. And children say, property we have distributed. So what will happen? Issues will happen. Are you getting the point? So uncle has not given the property. The same way DC has not given the role. Transfer has not happened. DC says, I was down. Role was with me. My power supply failed. I was down. Now my power supply is connected. I am up. I am the role holder. So if you know that you are going to solve this problem in 1-2 days, then do not perform seize. Solve it. Power supply replace it, motherboard replace it, CPU replace it, make it up. But if there is a big failure, you call the vendor, they say, no, we can't do anything. Then remove that domain controller from the domain and do not connect it. Are you getting the point? Are you getting the point, my dear friend? Do not connect it. Then perform seize. And how to perform seize? Let's see how to perform seize. Remember, seize can be performed only when the role holder is down. I want to show you in this lab how to perform seize. Think and tell me which domain controller I should down here. If I go to the AWS console, where are you? console.aws.amazon.com. If I go here, my dear friends, if I go here, think and answer. Who is the role holder right now? Whom should I down? Perfect. ADC is having the FSMO role. Actually, it is now the DC. So go here, click on instant state, click on stop because seize, if I want to show you, then I need to stop the one who is having the role. Can just go ahead and do this. Is it done? Can we go ahead? Have you stopped, my dear friends? Perfect. So you have stopped the one who is having the role. Okay, now I'm trying to log in. It is taking some time because it will take some time. Are you on DC, my dear friends? Are you on DC? Have you logged in? Okay. I need to give it some time. I will just pause the recording for some moment. Okay. So my dear friend, now we are on the command prompt, right? Okay. Now, once you are on this command prompt, can you type ntds util? ntds util. Can you type ntds util? Cs can be done only using command line. Huh? It cannot be done using GUI. Have you typed ntds util? Okay. Now type your roles. Have you typed roles? Now type connections. People make a lot of mistake here. So please type carefully ntds util, roles and connections. Are you on server connection? Now type here connect to the one whom you want to transfer the role. Host name, not the name. Host name. Host name. If you don't know the host name, type the command prompt and then open up the new command prompt and type host name and find the host name. Find the host name. So connect to the host name is DC. Connect to server. Connect to server and then the command is host name. Connect to server and then the host name. The host name is DC. So please type this command carefully. Your mistake can happen in this command. And if you have done correctly, you must see connected to DC using credential of locally logged on user. Done. Okay. Now control plus Z. Control plus Z. Please use control and Z and press enter. Control Z and press enter. Done, my dear friends. Have you done this? Now type your question mark. See, NTDS util can be used to transfer also. The way we have done a transfer using GUI. The same way, NTDS util command line can be used for transfer also. If you want to transfer, For example, if DC AD, if the role holder was up and we wanted to transfer, then the same step we have to do. And entities util and come here and use the transfer command. But in our case, transfer will not work. So cease will work. So type the command cease PDC. Meaning if you try transfer PDC also, na, it will not work. Are you getting the point? The role holder is down. It does not work. For transfer, the role holder should be up. So please type the command cease PDC. Then one by one, we have to run cease infra, cease naming, cease RID, cease schema. I will not run all of them because they take a lot of time. You want to run, you can run. I will run only one, that is cease PDC. So have you typed the command, my dear friend, cease PDC? Press enter. After pressing enter, click on yes. Do you see this message? After reading this message, what comes in your mind? What is happening? Cease is happening or transfer is happening? It says that I am trying to transfer before cease. I ask, yeah, what you're doing? I have typed cease. It says no, cease is danger. Might be your role holder is up and you don't know. Might be your role holder is up, you don't know. You do not have that knowledge. So as a part of my responsibility, I'm trying to transfer. I say, yeah, but I know transfer will fail. Command says, wait, yeah, let me do. Let me try to transfer. So you will see transfer fail. You will see failure. Then you will see proceeding with cease. So the cease command is so danger. Try to understand that before cease can be done only when the role holder is down. Microsoft says that, okay, might be the role holder is not down. Might be this guy is just running the cease. He does not know the transfer. Let me transfer. If the role holder is up now, it will not perform cease. It will perform transfer only. Transfer is safe. But obviously at last moment you have to do cease. If the role holder is permanently down, what you can do? You have to perform cease. But if the role holder is there, then cease will never be performed. Only transfer can be performed. Even though you type cease, transfer will be performed. But in our case, the role holder is down. Cease will happen. See. Press enter, enter, enter. So you will see here, transfer failed, proceeding with cease. It tried to transfer. It tried to transfer. It failed. Till here it says, I failed. And I said, yes, because the role holder is down. It says, finally, I go ahead with cease. Now, if you want to run all of the commands like cease, infrastructure master, naming master, and meaning these all commands, you are open to run. You have understood the concept. Rest all commands you can run. It is not necessary to run, but if you want, you can run. Infrastructure, naming, RID, and schema. Now, please have a look. Open up a new command prompt. Open up a new command prompt and type the command netdom query FSMO. Open up a new command prompt and type the command netdom query FSMO. Do you see that our server has got the role? Are you getting the point? Cease has been done. It says it has declared, I am the PDC master. Now you can open up the group policy and check gpmc.msc. When the role holder is down, you cannot open up the group policy. That part we were not able to show you. The role holder is down, you cannot open up the group policy. But anyways, you will be able to open up the group policy because now the PDC is with DC. But if the role PDC master is down, you cannot open up the group policy. The group policy does not open. Okay, now coming to the next thing. If you want, you can run all the commands, sys infra, naming. And sometimes people ask me that, okay, what if I go back here and what if I'm back on the command prompt and I want to go back again? Then same, NTDS util, roles, connections, connect to, try to memorize this, connect to server DC, then control Z, then question mark, then same C's, infrastructure naming, RID schema, one by one. C's command is not happening. Okay, my dear friend Vivek, we will help you. We will make you the host. Please click on the share button. Okay, please wait, please wait. Vivek, can you just open up a new command prompt and type netdom query FSMO? Netdom, buddy, netdom. NET. FSMO. Type gpmc.msc here. We would like to thank you, Vivek. I wanted to show this. Are you getting the point? People, what I wanted to show you is, see, Vivek has not performed Cs. The role is with ADC. ADC is down. So are we able to open up the group policy? Perfect. This is what I wanted to show, that group policy management console will not open if the PDC master is down, because PDC is the one which makes the changes in group policy. Now please click on OK and just close this, cancel this, cancel this, close this, close. Okay, just close this. Click on cancel, remove this from the console. Just click on anything, no problem. Close this. Now go to the back command prompt. Here you have to type connect to server DC, connect to CONN. Oh, you're making spelling mistakes. Connect to server DC. See in the chat box. Entity as util role connections. No. Just remove this. And I think here connection we have to type. Just remove this command and type connection. CONN connections. Press enter. Press enter. Quickly. Now here type connect to server DC. Connect to server space DC. The name of the server, the host name of the server. Array, my dear friend, server word. See in the chat box. Correct. Press enter. Now do Control Z, Control and Z, Control and Z. Press at once, Control and Z. Now press enter quickly. Now types question mark. Press enter. Now type Seize, SISEIZE, Seize, space PDC. Press enter. Yes. It is by default no. Now wait for some time and now try to open up the group policy management console. It will open because the C's you have performed C's, now it is PDC. Oh, where is my screen? I need to go back, but how can I go back? Okay, now one more thing is, once you have performed C's, my dear friend, you have to perform meta cleanup. You have to perform what? Meta cleanup. That old domain controller, the domain controller which is abruptly removed, it is not gracefully removed. Gracefully removed meaning there is an option of demotion. Okay. Now, how to demote gracefully? If you see, if you go to LMS, now, I have discussed with you. Remember, if you go to LMS, in LMS, there is a migration video. In LMS, there is a migration video. When you refer this video, you will get an idea that how the graceful demotion happens, how to demote gracefully, meaning how to install the Active Directory service, how to properly demote the correct way. But here in migration, you can do graceful demotion, but here you cannot. Why? Because this is like the server went down, the power supply is down. You have not got any time to do anything. So you have removed the domain controller physically. You have just removed the domain controller from the network physically. But what about Active Directory? Active Directory says, my dear friend, if you log in and if you go to dsa.msc, Active Directory says it is still the domain controller. Here, if you click on domain controller, it entries will be there. The domain controller entries, it will take some time, it will be okay. The domain controller entries, the domain controller which is down, which we have removed, that was having issue, that domain controller entries are still there. That requires manual cleanup. When you properly demote, you don't need that manual cleanup. But when this kind of scenario happens, then you have to perform manual cleanup. You have to refer this document. You have to do this meta cleanup. Step by step, Microsoft has given everything. How to perform meta cleanup. Meta cleanup is required after a forced removal of the domain controller. You perform meta cleanup on a domain controller in the domain that you have forcibly removed. Meta cleanup removes all the identification of that domain controller. Are you getting the point? Step by step in simple way they have given. Always remember, whenever you perform this kind of activity, a power supply failed or motherboard failed, CPU failed, you remove that domain controller, you perform Cs, then that remote domain controller, you have to perform meta cleanup. Step by step, everything is given here. So you just need to keep in mind that meta cleanup is important. Now it is going in little bit hang state, but it will become okay. So all cleanup meaning all the entries here, see the name server, the down domain controller, all the entries that it was there, that all entries has to be removed from DNS, from dsi.msc, from dsa.msc. That meta cleanup will perform. Okay. So my dear friends, I hope you enjoyed. Correct. I hope you enjoyed this session. Now, when you are coming for the next lecture, please have a look carefully. That lab which we have, DC, ADC, PC1, we do not need this lab. We do not need this lab. We have to terminate this lab. Okay, we have to terminate this lab. This lab is not required. So see here, you have to go here. You have to click on instance state. You have to click on terminate. Terminate meaning delete. You have to delete this lab. And after deleting, quickly you can create the new lab. Some people say that the word terminated is written here. No worry. You have terminated. You can quickly create the new lab. Now please have a look. After termination, you have to refer the lab video in LMS. There is a lab video in LMS. Watch the video and create the lab. Are you getting the point, my dear friend? Everything is there in the lab video. In the WhatsApp group, I will share you the video number. Are you getting the point? Refer the lab video in LMS and create the lab. Everything is there. But first, what you have to do? First step this, second step this. Without video also, you can create the lab. Which lab? How you will come to know which lab I want you people to create? Are you getting the point, my dear friend? There is a special lab for the next lecture. That special lab is there in the video only. That is not the lab. Na? DC, PC1, PC2 is not the lab. That is a good question you have raised. There is a special lab which is there in the video. So please do not create anything. Watch the video and create the lab. Is it clear, my dear friends? That was a good question you have raised out. So can we delete the lab now? Yes, you can delete the lab now. Please watch the video. It is a special lab. Accordingly, that only we want. Nothing less, nothing more. Now, today is Sunday. Today at night, you can create the lab. You will see the video. Monday, you can create. Tuesday, you can create. Wednesday, you can create. By Wednesday last. Okay, because if you face some issue, you can take my help. Thursday, Friday, please do not ping me up that I have not created the lab. Are you getting the point? Saturday, if you don't have the lab, you won't be able to do the practical. Please, 1 week now will go like this only. So please do not waste. Please create the lab, keep it ready. Do not wait for Thursday, Friday, last moment. Okay, max to max create by Wednesday. If you face some issue, you can take my help. Thursday, Friday, I'm not available. Then what you can do? It can happen. So my dear friends, I would like to thank you everyone for attending this session. Let's meet in the next session. Please create the lab. The lab video you will see after some time. Okay. So at night, from in the night, today's night, you can create. Today you do not have time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The lab will take 4 hours, approximate 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours. It is not 5-minute lab. It will take time. Okay. So bye.